Best practices for a successful design sprint.
Generally, it works, believe me. So, but let's focus on how to start, how to prepare for this design sprint, what should be done before. So, generally, because there are a lot of questions from our customer how to prepare. So, must have for starting design sprint from my experience, from our experience in our UX lab. So, generally, client, customer, if you got the problem and the challenge you want to solve. So it is the first the reason why you need the design sprint. So educate the team. It is connected with the another one with the check onboarding because before each design sprint workshops we of course send you the materials, the onboarding material, how to prepare, what should be done before, for example, first day workshop, what should be done before second day of workshop. It is extremely important, and we want to that our customers feel very comfortable and relaxed before the design sprint is. But as I mentioned, I also recommend also to meet with this book, for example, or on the internet materials, because if you are totally aware about such approach about these workshops exercises, you are confident and you want to say to your company, okay, design sprint is for us, so we need to definitely go to this approach. So this is the first thing. And of course, the one of the most important thing to do before design sprint workshops, and if we are going into, so it is assemble design sprint team. The design sprint team, the perfect design sprint team, should contain maximum 7-8 members, because thanks that number, it is a very productive meeting and we are able to concentrate on real problems. We are able to, discuss about everything. And what's more, the perfect design sprint team should consist of specialists from business field, development field, marketing field, and the design sprint team should, of course, have the product owner or decider, who is, of course, the 100% time on our workshops. And of course, design sprint facilitator, because this is the person who facilitates these workshops, who watch the clock, because we've got, the sprints, so we are running. So generally, the design sprint facilitator and designers are also dedicated to this design sprint team. And if you've got the perfect design sprint team, you are sure that you are the right people to solve right problem. Of course, you need to check and synchronize your calendars with ours. We need to plan definitely when exactly we can meet and go through the design sprint. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it's really extremely difficult here nowadays, but it is possible to do that. So let's go right now to the design sprint day by day, because probably you are totally interesting what is inside this design sprint methodology. So, and the best practices to go through design sprint. So let's start. At the beginning, before we start the design sprint, we conduct such a workshop like problem framing. It takes 2-3 hours. This workshop is about shared understanding, team alignment, and defining common strategy. So the main reason is why we conduct this meeting, because we need to understand the problem. So every participant of the design sprint team, we need to understand business need, and we need to understand the customer need. What you exactly want to solve, what kind of problem we need to address on the design sprint. And thanks this very short meeting, it could be of course remote or on site, we are able to define challenge for our next design sprint, which happened, for example, in the 2 next days. So the problem framing, it's important part to check. To check your vision with ours, to find out about the problems, current problems, and as I mentioned, understanding the problem, understanding business need, and understanding customer need. And if we are ready and we've got it, so we can go to the design sprint. So the first day, it is a very exciting day because design sprint team members are fascinating and waiting for these exercises. And really, it is great atmosphere during this day, and generally it's all about that. And what we need to do during this day. Of course, in the morning, we will define key questions and long-term goal, because we always ask about short-term goal and long-term goal. So next, we make a simple map of the product and service. And of course, we talk with the experts, because as I mentioned, in the core design sprint team, we've got seven, eight person. But of course, in your company, in your institution, you've got experts. For example, they have a very important information regarding this project, your project. So it is good. It's a good idea to invite them to the first day, and we would like to ask them a lot of questions. What is important? What we need to consider in our design sprint workshops, and of course, during this day. This first day, we are go through the benchmarking, go through the inspiring each other. So we would like to know what you like, what the people like, what could be useful in our approach. And at the end of the day, what is not typical, the group brainstorm, but generally each design sprint team member sketch on individual design, as you can mention on this movie. But don't worry about that. You don't have to be Picasso. This is generally, the idea on the paper. Okay, so let's go to the day number 2, because it is also very, very important day. So at the beginning of the day, we, as you can notice on this photo, we watch our sketches or on the whiteboard like here, or on the virtual board. But generally, we go through all these, our ideas, our sketches, and find out what is interesting, what we like the most, what we need to concentrate on. And generally, there are a lot of discussion, a lot of putting the fantastic notes on these projects. And it is important because we need to know how to prepare interactive prototype. And if we got that, if we've got this discussion, what we like, what we don't like, we prepare the storyboard together. So we've got screen by screen the process created, what we want to add on the interactive prototype. And next days, it depends on how much purpose and how many screens we need to prepare. We prepare this interactive prototype. This is something like this. So it is necessary to go through with the user on the next day through this prototype and ask about his or her opinions, what they like, what they don't like, if they think it's useful or not useful. So generally, this interactive prototype is very important for the next day. As I mentioned, because we test this solution at very beginning stage. So as you can notice, after during the 5th day or 6th day, and we conduct this test with 5 users. It takes approximately 50 minutes. So one-on-one interview. And as I mentioned, we ask about the perspective. And it is great, believe me, because we've got a fresh perspective and we are able to decide what is wrong, what is okay in our prototype, and we definitely can adjust that and correct our mistakes. And of course, after such interviews, we've got summary of the meeting, and together design sprint team decide what we need to go through. And after that, the stakeholder report also is prepared. And I would like to enhance you to do this test because there are a lot of great information. So listening is an art and the fresh perspective is amazing. And we definitely know what we need to change, what we need to add, what we need to improve. As I mentioned, we also, after such sessions, we know how to prepare, for example, the numbers, the report, stakeholder report, to present the results after this testing of our mockups. We can, of course, take into consideration some kind of simplicity versus complexity, or we can take into consideration useful or not useful our application. And thanks these numbers, thanks this, the pie charts, so it is for you, for your stakeholders, really prove that it's worth to go through the design sprint. As I mentioned, design sprint is very fast and agile. So at the beginning, the problem framing, design sprint, 1 week. After such 1 week, we've got, the prototype UX, so we can iterate the changes after the usability testing. And of course, after that, we can prepare the graphical user concept, because at the beginning on this prototype UX, it is not so important to prepare something ideal and with colors, because on this prototype UX we need to concentrate on functionality, navigation, and we need to find out that people love this solution or not. And of course, during this graphical user concept, our mockup, our prototype UX is changed into beautiful color, of course, prototype with, this is some kind of results on our internal design sprints with colors, with animation. So totally we can care about the details. So there are a lot of final feel and look, because it is one of the outcome of the design sprint. So we, of course, during such session design sprint, during the graphical user concept stage, we take into consideration the illustration, icons, and etc. and etc.